Before we dive into this story, don't forget to like and follow the channel for more captivating romances like this one. Your engagement helps bring even more amazing stories your way. Now, sit back and enjoy this real story filled with emotion and unexpected desire. The first time I truly noticed her was on an ordinary afternoon, one of those days we live on autopilot. Sitting at the kitchen table, a cup of coffee warming my hands, I watched the laughter echoing through the house. My daughter and her friends filled the space with youthful energy, and among them, there she was, Clara. Always present, always kind. With a smile that lit up any room and a way of speaking that made everything seem lighter. I had known her since my daughter started college, but I had never really seen her beyond the friendship they shared. At least, not until that moment. It was subtle, a gaze that lingered a little too long, a laugh that sent a different kind of vibration through my chest. Something shifted inside me, something I struggled to ignore. After all, I was a widow, a mother, and she was far too young for me to entertain such thoughts. But my heart, stubborn as ever, had started to stir. The days that followed were a whirlwind of denial and confusion. It was just a passing thought, a moment of loneliness disguising itself as admiration, something fleeting. But the more I tried to push the feeling away, the stronger it became. Clara was a constant presence, and her closeness unsettled me in ways I couldn't define. One evening, while my daughter was away at a college conference, Clara showed up at my door, holding a bottle of wine. "I thought you might want some company," she said, with that effortless smile that always managed to undo me. We sat on the porch, the sky painted in warm shades of orange, and we talked like we never had before. No longer as my daughter's friend and her friend's mother, but as two women. She listened with quiet intensity, her eyes locked onto mine, and every now and then, her leg brushed against mine, sending shivers through my skin that I pretended not to feel. "Have you ever thought about loving again?" she asked, her voice low, intimate. My heart stopped for a second. "I think my time has passed," I murmured, taking a sip of wine to hide the tremor in my voice. She smiled, leaning in just a little closer. "I don't think it has." And that was when I knew I was completely caught up in her. The following days were a silent torment. The casual brush of her hand against mine, the lingering glances, the smiles weighted with something I still feared naming. I wasn't supposed to feel this way. She was too young, my daughter's friend, and I was a woman who had loved and lost. But my heart, rebellious and unyielding, refused to follow the rules. That Friday, Clara showed up again. A light dress, her hair undone, an expression that seemed to challenge everything I was trying to suppress. "We had a deal, remember? Movie and wine," she said, leaning against the doorframe like she belonged there. And in some way, she did. I nodded, knowing full well this would only pull me deeper. We sat on the couch, sharing a glass of wine as the movie played in front of us. But nothing in the world could hold my attention more than her. The way she curled up comfortably beside me. The way her scent filled the space between us, making every breath feel heavier. Then, it happened. Her hand touched mine, not by accident. Clara laced her fingers with mine, firm, deliberate. I should have pulled away, but my body refused to obey reason. She turned to me, her dark eyes gleaming under the glow of the screen. "You feel this too, don't you?" she whispered, a dangerous invitation. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might shatter my ribs. My mind screamed that this was madness, but my body had already made its choice. "Clara," I tried to say something, but her hand slid up to my face, a soft, warm touch that dismantled me completely. "Let me show you that your time hasn't passed," she murmured, right before her lips brushed against mine. It was slow at first, hesitant, but then urgency took over, a desire bottled up for far too long, spilling out all at once. My skin burned where her fingers wandered, and every part of me begged for more. I was lost, and for the first time in years, losing myself felt like the right choice. The feel of her touch was a spark igniting something deep within me, something I hadn't even realized was still there. The kiss deepened, and my body responded like it was waking from a long sleep. My fingers trailed to the back of her neck, feeling the warmth of her skin beneath my hesitant touch. When we finally pulled away, the silence between us was heavy with everything we didn't need to say. Clara looked at me with a mixture of tenderness and desire, her breathing unsteady, her lips still glistening from the kiss. "You can tell me to stop if you want," she whispered, her dark eyes locked onto mine. I could, but I didn't want to. Instead, I let my fingers trace her face, memorizing the softness of her skin, imprinting this moment into my memory, as if to ensure it was real. "It's been a long time since I felt like this," I admitted. Barely more than a whisper, she smiled, and it was a smile of understanding, like she knew exactly what I meant. Clara took my hand and placed it over her chest, where her heart pounded just as wildly as mine. "Then maybe it's time to feel again," she said, her voice gentle, her words sinking into me. That moment wasn't just about desire, it was something bigger, something breaking barriers inside me, dissolving my fears, igniting new possibilities. We let ourselves fall into what had already been written in the air for far too long. Her lips found mine again, and this time, there was no hesitation. My body fit against hers, our sighs blending into the warm air of the room. And in that instant, nothing else existed but us. I didn't know where this would lead. I didn't know how my daughter would react, or how I would handle the consequences of this unexpected feeling. But for now, I decided I didn't need answers. For now, all that mattered was that, after so many years of living in the past, I was finally alive again.